I'm here at the Denver Comic-Con with voice actor, and theater actor Khary Payton, which you might know him from his work as Cyborg on Teen Titans and Aqualad on Young Justice. How are you doing today, sir?
I'm doing great. I had a fun time at the con, and now I'm tired, and we're winding down, but it was a great weekend.
And the convention's been treating you well?
Oh, yeah, everybody's been great. I mean, the convention's everybody's here to have a good time, There were only like 4 or 5 brawls, in the middle of the, artist alley, which was nice.
I saw you were having a good time at the costume contest.
Yeah, it was great. I get a kick out. I mean, the stuff that some of the people do is just amazing, and I had a lot of fun when I did it last year, so they called me back to do it again, and when technical difficulties arise, you get up there and just start, vamping for the folks and having a good time, and everybody's in there to support each other, so it's nice.
Let's start from the beginning. What was your childhood like? No, I'm kidding. What got you into acting? What drove you?
I don't know. I was just always an imaginative kid, I guess, growing up, and I always thought that I'd want to do it. I want to try it. I started. I actually was doing stand-up comedy when I was really young, and that kind of morphed into doing theater, and I went to school for theater at SMU in Dallas, Texas, and did regional theater for a couple of years, and then moved out to LA. And I don't know. It's always kind of been in me, that was what I was going to do. I honestly auditioned for several colleges, and was telling myself if I got into those colleges, then maybe I'm pretty good at this, and I'll keep doing it. And if I can't get into those places, then maybe I'm not very good at it, and I'll just teach history. Because all of my favorite history teachers, they were all actors in their own way, kind of brought the stories to life to me. So I was like, if I have a fallback plan, I guess I'll be a history professor or something. But it all worked out, and somehow I'm making a living doing this, and it's great. So.
Some of your most fan-favorite characters are Cyborg and Aqualad. Do you love the experience being the hero that everybody looks up to?
That's funny, because I guess I don't really think of it that way. I love the characters. I think even though they're cartoons and they're comic, but they're also very grounded. Those guys happen to be, they're superheroes, but they have a responsibility that they feel, or they have it's kind of a blessing and a curse in a way, So I feel like there's a depth to the characters that I really latch onto, and so I have an affinity for them, and I feel deeply for them, even when I'm being goofy or so, like when Cyborg is, he wears his heart on his sleeve, and he can be big and loud, but his emotions are deeply felt, so he's big and loud when he's feeling, hurt as well. So I just have I have a real love for those characters, and I hadn't thought of. I guess I don't think of it as people looking up to them. I know that they do, and I love that. But I'm more akin to kind of sharing the passion that the people have for those characters,
Recently, Teen Titans Go was released, continuing a little bit in the Teen Titans style.
Right.
Did you ever have, when you started with the shorts, Did you have to come at the character from a different angle, being a little more comedic than what it used to be?
Not really, because in a lot of the old show, I mean, we were really broad with the comedy. I mean, we got dark sometimes, but I also played an entire episode as a bear in a tutu. So we didn't get that, dark. We got a little crazy sometimes. That was a great thing about Cyborg being my first voiceover job as well, because I played, the drama and the dark stuff, but we also, went wacky and went goofy. So I really don't think of him as a comic or a drama character. I just think of him as the character, and so going back and forth between the two is easy.
And recently, unfortunately, Young Justice is not continuing.
Yeah, I know. But talk it up. Keep talking Young Justice. We're bringing Young Justice back. I cannot believe that this is the last time that I'm doing Aqualad. So everybody out there, talk about it. Write to your congressman. No, write to, Warner Brothers or Cartoon Network or whatever. But tell them that you're passionate about the show, because we are passionate about the show. We want to tell more stories. There's so much especially in the character of Aqualad that I want to explore, but also in the other characters as well. I mean, that was the beauty of Young Justice, is that, Miss Martian has these secrets, and Artemis, has this push and pull with her family, and Superboy trying to figure out who he is, and Lord knows, what, we got to figure out what happened to Wally, so I want to know more. I want to know more. I want to be able to tell those stories. So keep talking it up.
Well, talking about stories, I've heard a lot of stories of what it's like to be a voice actor behind the microphone.
Right.
What is it like?
It's about the best job in the world. I mean, you get to be anything and anybody, my first job, I'm a half robot teenager, fighting crime with Robin and the rest of his friends, and then I just did a job where I was playing Doomsday, in a video game, this huge otherworldly creature, so there's an episode of Teen Titans Go where Cyborg talks in the voice of his grandmother the entire episode. So he's literally like, I'm sorry, baby, you can't you can't go out there and do that. That would be horrible. Y'all gonna get hurt. Where else can you do that? Where else can you do that but in animation? It's the best job in the world.
I would think so. Recently, when your live action roles, you've become in the producer role with Astronaut.
Yeah.
How has it been that experience being a producer and not just like a lead role or an actor?
I don't know. It just kind of bleeds into usually the things that I latch on to that I end up working on, for a long period of time. I get passionate about, and Astronaut is a story that I was passionate about telling, and so I was producing and starring in it as well, and it just seemed like a natural progression. Honestly, if they asked me to help produce Young Justice, I'd probably, I don't know what I'd do, but I'd just do whatever I could, because at the end of the day, I mean, I'm an actor, yes, but I feel like I'm a storyteller, and whatever I can do to help push that forward, to help tell a great story, in whatever capacity I can, I'm going to try and do that. But Astronaut, it was another thing that became a passion, and we told the story, just with the change in our pockets, put together what we could. I asked favors from talented people, that said yes, and we were able to make an award-winning movie that'll be out, on Blu-ray and DVD and iTunes and Amazon and all of that, at the end of the year. So we're so excited. We never thought that we'd be in stores all across America and be distributed to other countries and all of that, but it's actually happening. We can't be happier.
Congratulations about that, by the way.
Thanks. Yeah.
So the overall independent film experience has been a good one for you?
Yeah. It's been hard. It's one of the hardest things we've ever done, but it's ultimately been rewarding. When there are people who we screened the movie here last year, who are still coming to me and talking to me about it and talking about their experiences about it, and it's a thoughtful movie, and we think that when you go away from it and think about it more, there are all kinds of questions that come up about, the meaning of life and what does it mean to live. Does it matter where you are, or does it matter how you think about where you are? You know what I mean? It's a great piece, and it's been a great thing to be able to talk to people about it, just like I talked about Young Justice or Teen Titans with people. The connection is what I've always been looking for. That connection with an audience, with people, to share a passion for a story. So it's been great.
Well, lastly, every time we at Conman get a chance to meet and talk to a voice actor of your caliber, we have a little voice actor challenge, if you're up for it.
We'll see. I don't know what's about to happen, people.
What would a team up between Cyborg and Aqualad sound like?
It would sound like, dude, what's the matter? We got to get out of here. We got to do this. And Aqualad would probably say something like, that's fine, Cyborg. I just need you to calm down and focus. We're going to do it. Today is the day. Awesome, man. I appreciate you. Booyah. Let's get out of here and get a dog. Get a hot dog or a pizza.
Well, thank you very much for talking to us, and safe travels on your way home.
Thank you, man. Thank you very much for having me.